Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica. If you haven't seen me before, I'm from Green Fever, SA. Today, I'm going to be repotting this gorgeous Monsters Deliciosa. We are, the first week into spring, and so it's the perfect time to repot. I do have a co-host over here, Miss Bean Pie. Well, her name's Sawyer. I just call her Bean Pie. So she likes to get involved a bit. Today I'm just going to be doing a repot. I have done a full care video on this plant, which I will link below for you. So you guys can definitely go check that out if you want to know a little bit more about care for this plant. But I thought what I would do is I would talk a little bit about why I started this channel, and then to make it a bit more planty and interesting, this guy really is in desperate need of a repot. So first I'm going to show you why he needs a repot. It is stretching out of the pot. If I move these out the way, he's literally growing completely out of the pot. So I'm going to be putting him into this pot, which isn't that much bigger, but I'm also adding the moss pole. I'm adding this really beautiful moss pole, which is from SA Botanical Gardens. And the only issue I found is that it doesn't actually have a pole on the inside of the moss pole. So in all fairness, it is my absolute favorite moss pole. It looks really beautiful, the green color, phenomenal. But the only problem is that I found it doesn't have a stick in the middle, and because of that, you almost have to bury half of it into the pot for it to stabilize, which you lose most of it, and then it still is quite wonky, and the soil sort of doesn't seem to hold it well enough. So I'm going to attempt sticking this in a little bit and seeing how that goes. It might make it worse or it might help, but I would love to start using these moss poles for all of my plants if this works. If this doesn't work, I might have to go back to the drawing board. I already have my soils all mixed and that sort of stuff. I'm going to try to stick this in here first. And then I have already pre-wet this. How deep I can stick it in, if I can at all. The moss is quite compacted in here, so it might be tricky. Oh, but it's working. Okay. Oh, I like this. Looks like I'm going to be able to use, hopefully, these moss poles in future. I love the green color. It really doesn't create like an eyesore when your plant hasn't fully covered it. So obviously in the beginning of all our moss pole journeys, we have a huge big moss pole that takes up more than the plant, and it can be a bit of like an eyesore, whereas I found this one actually looks really beautiful. Ooh, getting water everywhere. Okay, a little bit deeper. So the reason why I started this channel, other than that I love plants, and I actually wanted to take it up as a way to improve myself, not only in the way that I communicate, but also in the way that I pay a little bit more attention to my plants. It's a good way for me to learn more for myself before I actually share it. It makes me pay attention to my plants a lot more, observe a little bit more, and so for that I find that creating this YouTube channel is actually just making me a better gardener, a better indoor plant parent. And sorry if you don't see my face in half of this. So to start off with, what I normally would do is I just sort of squeeze the pot to loosen it up as much as possible. Monstera roots love to almost like attach themselves to the sides of the pot. They do like to be pot bound to some degree. What I also do is I make sure before I'm going to repot that I don't water the plant for a few days before, or I haven't watered it for a few days before. Just makes it easier working with dry soil than it does working with wet soil. So to come to my second point, I don't feel like I communicate very well. I feel like I beat around the bush a lot, and by editing these videos and speaking to the cameras, it's a really purposeful way of me learning to speak better, to get my point across, to say what I need to say without rambling, which I'm doing now. I just want to show you these roots, which I hadn't even looked at. They are just about to start popping at the bottom, and you can actually see how it's clinging to the pot. sorry, losing soil everywhere. So you can see how these are actually clinging to the pot a bit. Obviously want to do this as carefully as possible. I don't think we're going to be able to do this without breaking some roots, unfortunately. But I'm going to just see if I can loosen it up a bit and just encourage it out without breaking any stems here. Okay, hallelujah. I think we have managed to release it. So yeah, you can see there's not much soil left here in terms of the bottom. The top has still got a bit of soil. The bottom of this root ball has basically, usually if you look underneath, it's got no soil left, or very little soil left. Okay, so I'm actually breaking off a lot more of the soil and the roots than I would generally suggest. And the reason for that is because it's got a really horrible sand basically in here. Most of the soil that this root is in is literally useless. It's sandy soil, it's got no nutrients. So I've actually completely broken this root up. Also what had happened is the roots had all grown around the soil, and so there was a big ball of soil in the middle with no roots. And I have destroyed a lot of its root system in doing so. Well, not destroyed a lot of its root system, but it's lost quite a bit of roots. But these sort of plants, like I said, are quite hardy. I'm going to be putting in a fresh new soil. Okay, so I've got my other pot. I've got my pre-mixed soil, which has got a bunch of lovely things in it. Then this is going to be the tricky part, is actually putting this guy in, as well as this guy. So thank you guys for watching me repot this gorgeous monstera and listening to me blab a little bit about why I've started my YouTube channel. And if you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button, especially if you enjoy these videos. And I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, week, month, year. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you next time.